Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Reactor and this is Quinn, and today's article comes from BBC.com and it's titled, China Ushers, Xinjiang Legalizes Re-Education Camp. So, some reports say 1 million Ushers, was it Ufers? Ufers have been detained.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Million? Wait, what is a Ufer? China's western Xinjiang region has written vocational training centers for Muslim Ufers into law amid growing international concern over large-scale disappearances there. What? I mean, basically, this article says that China's going after Islamic people.
Right.
And they're re-educating them. That's what I'm getting from this.
Right.
Because everyone knows an Ufer is an Islamic person who moved to China. Right?
Oh, is that right?
No, I have no idea.
I don't.
I'm just kind of making it up as I go.
Okay.
Play along, bro.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes. Anyway, Xinjiang. It's Xinjiang, right?
Xinjiang.
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 Xinjiang
Sounds more correct.
Xinjiang says the centers will tackle extremism through thought transformation. Ooh, thought policing. Rights groups say detainees are made to swear loyalty to President Xi, I think it's Xi.
I think you're right.
Xi Jinping, and criticize or renounce their faith. Whoa, you gotta talk shit about Islam in China if you move to China. In August, China denied allegations that it had locked up 1 million people. But officials attending a UN human rights meeting admitted that Uyghurs deceived by religious extremism were undergoing re-education and resettlement. Man, all these Chinese words. Xinjiang has seen cycles of violence and crackdowns for years. China accuses Islamist militants and separatists of orchestrating the trouble. Ooh, that's a religionist. What does the Chinese legislation say? Xinjiang's new legislation is the first detailed indication of what China is doing in the region. It says examples of behavior that could lead to detention include expanding the concept of halal, which means permissible in Islam, to areas of life outside diet, refusing to watch state TV and listen to state radio, and preventing children from receiving state education. Oh, so you're trying to cut them off.
Not teaching your own kids, not serving kids food you want to serve them or family, teaching family or anyone else about the religion you care for. And that's basically, you can't do any of that.
It sounds pretty like fascist, but I feel like they're just pissed off that people are coming to their country and cutting themselves off and being extremist. You know, they want you to assimilate in their country is what it seems like. You can be Islamic. It's not like they're not actually going after Islam. They're going after extremist Islam, who says, no, my family's not allowed out of the house to be involved in your culture. You know?
Right.
That's what it feels like they're saying.
I'll be honest with you. If I was dealing with these kind of problems in the country where I lived, I would take what skills I have, and I would go to China if it were the U.S., and I would want to be in the opposite place. If the United States was China, I would definitely want to be in the opposite place of that. I want to make my own decisions. I want to eat my own food and, teach people what I want to teach. So yeah, I agree. It's
like if you moved to China, you wouldn't want to partake in
not
the culture.
No. I'd probably be
make your
kicked
kid
out
homeschool.
Immediately. They'd be like, "Who are you? Bow to the leader." I'd be
if you had like an American homeschool for your kid and didn't let him talk to the other Chinese people, I guess that's still just as bad.
I'd be rounded up immediately.
Yeah. China says its network of detention centers will also teach Mandarin Chinese, legal concepts, and provide vocational training. Yeah, they're trying to assimilate people. Rights groups have criticized the move. Sophie Richardson from Human Rights Watch said the words on paper outlining grotesque, vast human rights abuses don't deserve the term law.
What they're doing to these Muslims is obviously terribly wrong.
It's just a re-education camp.
I mean,
and it's not like they're saying you're not allowed to be
terrible.
Muslim. They're saying you have to understand China if you want to live here.
I'll
I don't
also
think it's that bad.
I mean, it's your opinion, but I think that one thing that China does correctly is that they teach kids a specific skill, and they'll say, okay, you're 4 years old, you're going to kung fu school. Like Jet Li, he was chosen to go to kung fu school when he was a kid. He didn't choose it. they just chose it for him, and he became a great martial artist because they're like, you're doing this your whole life. Then they do that with like trades and all sorts of others. I've met people, you know, like in my life that they should have been doing like vocational whatever training from when they were like little kids. They would have been better at it now than they were. You know what I mean? They would already know. They wouldn't have to go through their adult life learning it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's one thing they do right. You know, this is wrong, but some parts of their culture, their society, do work, in my opinion.
New law bans promoting of religion. By giving these camps a legal footing, China appears to have confirmed that many have been saying for months, that it is running a string of re-education camps for Muslims in Xinjiang in the name of combating extremism. In newly published regulations detailing the camps, China has given them a vague-sounding name. It calls them vocational skills and educational training centers. But it is clear their purpose is not just about giving people the ability to get a better job. No, I really feel like that is what it's doing. If you don't understand China and you can't understand the language, how are you going to be part of their culture? Why are you even there? You trying to start your own country?
This sounds like an extreme version of what I've read about happening in other countries like Sweden and Germany and places that have opened their doors to people that are escaping war and, you know, terrible conditions. And so I think this is a lot worse, though, what they're talking about.
This doesn't sound bad at all. It's a school.
Yeah,
it's not even like
it's
not a prison camp. I mean, it sounds like a school. Like, all right, you have to go to class.
You may be correct on that.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about a prison camp. It sounds like they're trying to fluff it up into a human rights thing, but really it's like, if you live in someone's country and they are nicely offering you a way to assimilate into their culture, it's not a human rights violation. Well, I guess they're forcing them to go there, but still, it's like they're allowing you to be in their country. You know, shouldn't you respect them?
Well, I mean, there's you know, also the opinion of you should be able to eat and pray to who you want. Yeah. And teach your kids how you want. And if you don't want them to go to some school you don't agree with, they don't have to. But this is clearly not that choice. You do not get a choice.
It seems, yeah, but they're just mad that people are cutting their families off from the entire Chinese culture while assuming they should live there. You shouldn't live in a country if you don't want anything to do with its culture. Bottom line, man. If you hate a country's culture, why are you there?
If a country only has one culture, then you're probably in China. Because that's what they're trying to do, is create one way of living, and that's just the only way, you know.
So, by giving these legal where am I? Extremism. In newly published regulations detailing the camps, China has given them a vague-sounding name. It calls them, but it's clear, man. The regulations say they are for people influenced by extremism. The point is to correct bad behavior and ensure those inside them undergo psychological counseling and ideological education. The camps are part of a broader attack on Islamic extremism in Xinjiang. Are you a fan of Islamic extremism?
I'm really not a fan of it. No.
So okay. So you.
But I believe if someone's not an extremist in their religion, that they should be allowed to practice it.
But if they cut themselves off and it's all they do,
I mean, I fear for anyone that has to undergo psychological counseling and ideological education, because who knows what that is? Is that like, you know, like shock treatment where you know, or is that like a room where I
think you're assuming the worst.
Or what if it's just a room where someone tells you all day?
It's like driver's ed,
and you don't like it, but eventually you just say, okay.
You end up in a classroom with a bunch of people, a bunch of adults. It's like driver's ed, you know?
Right.
Well, that's mostly kids, but you know what I mean, like. The camps are part of it. Okay, the new rules mean it's illegal to spread religious fanaticism by, for example, having abnormal beards or unusual names.
So they're making everybody shave as well. Like, you have to, like, your beard's too long, sir.
And extremism is defined so broadly that it even seems to be applicable to parents who complain if their children want to marry someone of a different faith or ethnic group. The parents who complain if their children want to marry someone of a different faith or ethnic group. Is that not allowed in China?
No, it's like, yeah.
Is China cracking down on Islam? China is also launching a wider campaign against Islamic practices across Xinjiang. It wants to stop the use of halal products that are not food. What does that even mean?
I don't know, but Xinjiang sounds like 1820s Alabama in the United States for
Yeah.
black people right now.
One newspaper said the use of the term halal to describe items such as toothpaste blurred the line between religious and secular life and made people prey to religious extremism. Yeah. On Monday, Communist Party leaders in the regional capital Urumqi led cadres in swearing an oath to fight the pan-halal trend, AFP reports. New regulations also make it clear that Muslim women